Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look on what is happening in India and in the world. In the first sign of de-escalation of tension in eastern Ladakh, the Chinese army has removed tents and started to withdraw its troops from Galwan Valley as decided during high-level talks between the two militaries, government sources said on Monday. China's People Liberation Army was seen removing tents and structures at patrolling point 14, the sources said, adding rearward movement of vehicles of Chinese troops was seen in the general area of Galwan and Gogra hot springs. They said disengagement of Chinese troops in the area has begun as per decisions arrived at during the Corps commander level talks. The sources said there was clear sign of withdrawal of structures and troops from the patrolling point 14 in Galwan Valley and that they are likely to move back more than a kilometer in the area. It is not immediately known whether the de-escalation initiative has also been started in the Pangong TSO area, where the Chinese side has significantly enhanced its presence, particularly in areas between Finger 4 and Finger 8. On June 30, the Indian and Chinese armies held the third round of Lieutenant General level talks, during which both sides agreed on an expeditious, phased and stepwise de-escalation as a priority to end the standoff. However, the situation deteriorated following the Galwan Valley clashes as the two sides significantly bolstered their deployments in most areas along the LAC. Nepal's ruling Communist Party's crucial standing committee meeting to decide Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's future has been postponed until Wednesday, according to an official announcement. Prime Minister's press advisor Surya Thapa said that the meeting was deferred for Wednesday. The reason for the postponement was not immediately known. On Sunday as well, the meeting was postponed for Monday as the top leaders of the Nepal Communist Party required more time to forge an understanding on the outstanding issues. The crucial meeting of the NCP's 45-member standing committee, the most powerful body of the party, was scheduled to be held on Monday. Top NCP leaders, including former Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda, have demanded Prime Minister Oli's resignation, saying his recent anti-India remarks have neither politically correct nor diplomatically appropriate. Oli and Prachanda were expected to meet on Monday ahead of the standing committee meeting. Deep floodwaters and the risk of more mudslides that left at least 34 people confirmed or presumed dead hampered search and rescue operations Sunday in southern Japan, including at elderly home facilities where more than a dozen died and scores were still stranded. Helicopters and boats rescued more people from their homes in the Kumamoto region. More than 40,000 defense troops, the Coast Guard and fire brigades were taking part in the operation. Overall, 18 people were confirmed dead, while 16 others, including those at the nursing home, were presumed dead. 14 others were still missing as of Sunday afternoon. Dozens of others will still trapped in some areas waiting to be rescued, according to the Fire and Disaster Management Agency. More than 2 lakh residents in Kumamoto Prefecture were urged to evacuate following pounding rains on Friday, but the evacuation was not mandatory and most of the people opted to stay home because of concerns over catching the coronavirus. even though officials say shelters are adequately equipped with partitions and other safety measures. Flooding also cut off power and communication lines, further delaying the search. Nearly 6,000 homes in Kumamoto were still without electricity on Sunday, according to the Kyushu Electronic Power Company Limited. Launching a fresh attack on Rahul Gandhi, BJP President JP Nadda said on Monday that the Congress leader has not attended a single meeting of Parliament's Standing Committee on Defence, but continues to demoralize the nation and question the valor of armed forces. Nadda's tweet comes following reports that Gandhi has attended none of the committee's meetings so far. There was no immediate reaction from the Congress to Nadda's talk. Rahul Gandhi does not attend a single meeting of Standing Committee on Defence, but sadly he continues to demoralize the nation, question the valor of our armed forces, and do everything that a responsible opposition leader should not do, the BJP president said. He added Rahul Gandhi belongs to the glorious dynastic tradition where as far as defence is concerned, committees don't matter, only commissions do. Congress has many observing members who understand parliamentary matters, but one dynasty will never let such leaders grow. That is really sad. Gandhi has been leading his party's sharp criticism of the central government over a host of issues, including the continuing standoff between Indian and Chinese armies. The BJP has in turn accused him of lowering the morale of armed forces. Reliance Industries Limited's market valuation on Monday crossed rupees 11.5 lakh crore mark on the account of rise in its share price. The heavyweight stock jumped 2.55% to a record high of rupees 1,833 on the BSE. Its market valuation rose by rupees 26,150 crore to rupees 11 lakh 59,318 crore during the morning trade. Reliance Industries, the country's most valued firm, last month became the first Indian company to cross the 11 lakh crore market valuation mark. Shares of Reliance Industries on Friday rose by nearly 2% after announcement that Intel Capital will buy 0.39% stake in Jio Platforms. The rupee appreciated 40 paise to 74.52 against the US dollar in early trade on Monday, tracking weaknesses in greenback and gains in the domestic equity market. Forex traders said positive equities, steady crude oil prices, foreign fund inflows and weak US currency supported the local unit. The rupee opened at 74.53 against the US dollar, then gained some ground and touched 74.52 against US dollar, registering a jump of 14 paise over its previous close. It had settled at 74.66 against the greenback on Friday. Cues from Asia remained firm as most Asian currencies have started with gains against the US dollar this morning. Against the greenback, Reliance Securities said in a research note, we could witness further appreciation of the currency supported by gains in equities, steady crude oil prices, Reserve Bank of India shying away from buying dollars and weak US currency. Meanwhile, the dollar index, which gauges the greenback's strength against a basket of 6 currencies, fell 0.22% to 96.96. On the domestic equity market front, the 30-share BSE benchmark Sensex was trading 418 points higher at 36,440, and the broader NSE Nifty rose 138 points to 10,745. Foreign institutional investors were net buyers in the capital market as they purchased shares worth rupees 857 crores on Friday, according to provisional exchange data. The World Bank and the Government of India today signed the $750 million agreement for the MSME Emergency Response Program to support increased flow of finance into the hands of micro, small and medium enterprises severely impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. The World Bank's MSME Emergency Response Program will address the immediate liquidity and credit needs of some 1.5 million viable MSMEs to help them withstand the impact of the current shock and protect millions of jobs. This is the first step among a broader set of reforms that are needed to propel the MSME sector over time. The agreement was signed by Shri Samir Kumar Khare, Additional Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance on behalf of the Government of India, and Mr. Junaid Ahmed, Country Director on behalf of the World Bank. Shri Khare said that the COVID-19 pandemic has severely impacted the MSME sector, leading to the loss of livelihoods and jobs. The Government of India is focused on ensuring that the abundant financial sector liquidity available flow to NBFCs, and that banks which have turned extremely risk averse continue taking exposures in the economy by lending to NBFCs. This project will support the government in providing targeted guarantees to incentivize NBFCs and banks to continue lending to viable MSMEs to help sustain them through the crisis. The World Bank Group, including its private sector arm, the International Finance Corporation, will support the government's initiatives to protect the MSME sector. The bounty on Vikas Dubey, the gangster who has been missing since Friday after allegedly killing 8 policemen, has been increased to rupees 2.5 lakhs. The cash reward for the arrest of Vikas Dubey has been increased to rupees 2.5 lakh by UP Director General of Police H.C. Awasthi. Additional Director General Law and Order Prashant Kumar said on Monday 8 policemen, including a Deputy Superintendent of Police, were killed when they went to a village in Kanpur in the early hours of Friday to arrest Dubey, one of the state's most notorious criminals, charged in 60 criminal cases including murders. Dubey has been missing since the incident. In the past, he had been arrested several times but had always escaped conviction. 4 policemen suspected to have tipped off Dubey about teams heading to the village to arrest him have been suspended. Roadblocks, including an earth mover, had been put up on Thursday night on routes to Dubey's village, which forced the police to abandon their vehicles. When they finally reached the village, gunfire broke out from rooftops. The shooters had advantage over the cops, who could not see them as bullets rained. 8 policemen died on the spot, while 7 were wounded. Dubey's uncle was shot dead by the police, and one of his associates has been arrested. This aide has allegedly claimed that Dubey had received a phone call from the police station alerting him to the raid. The criminal then called in reinforcement and organized the ambush. The district administration on Saturday demolished the gangster's house, and visuals showed cars and other vehicles in the premises of the complex being crushed by machines. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
వేసవి అవుతుంది ఫన్ with the cooler number one. ఇక చేసుకో more fun ఉంటే cooler number one. ఇక don't run from the sun ఉంటే Kelsta number one. मैं दीवाना 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 इतना सुंदर जैसे कोई सपना सुहाना मैं दीवाना दीवाना
कचारिया टाइम्स, जो देखे वो दीवाना।
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. India has set an ambitious timeline for its first potential coronavirus vaccine, from human trials to general use in 6 weeks. Bharat Biotech International Limited, an unlisted vaccine maker, received regulatory approval to start human clinical trials for its experimental shot earlier this week, and it already has India's top medical research body expediting the process. The under development vaccine is envisaged to be rolled out for public health use by August 15 after completion of all clinical trials, ICMR said in a July 2 letter to clinical trial sites. It is one of the top priority projects which is being monitored at the topmost level of the government. The speediness has alarmed some in medical fraternity, such as accelerated development pathway has not been done ever for any kind of vaccine, even the ones being tried out in other countries. Anand Ban, a medical researcher at India's Manipal University, said in a Twitter post, even with accelerated timelines, this seems rushed and hence with potential risks. Bharat Biotech plans to enroll 375 people in the first phase of clinical trials and 750 people in the second phase. An ICMR spokesperson said whether the vaccine will be approved for general use depends on the outcomes of those trials. They can't do that, said Jaiprakash Muliyil, chairman of the Scientific Advisory Committee in National Institute of Epidemiology, referring to the targeted timeline of the vaccine launch. Developing a vaccine is a complicated procedure that involves proving its effectiveness and safety. Lightning strikes killed 140 people in Bihar over the last 10 days, officials said on Sunday, warning of more extreme weather conditions to come, driven by climate change. Around 215 people, farmers, laborers and cattle graziers have died from strikes in the state since late March, the authorities said. I was informed by weather experts, scientists and officials that rising temperatures due to climate change is the main cause behind the increasing lightning strikes. Bihar's Disaster Management Minister Lakshmeshwar Rai said 25 people died on Saturday, he said. The India Meteorological Department has warned of more lightning in the next 48 hours. Lightning strikes during the annual monsoon that runs from June to September are fairly common, but officials said this year number of deaths in Bihar has already surpassed the total number of recorded annually for the state over the past few years. even though the monsoon season has just started. Last year, 170 people were killed in lightning strikes during the monsoon period. Bihar archaeometeorologist Abduct Sattar said lightning and thunder was caused by large-scale instability in the atmosphere, fueled by temperature rises and excessive moisture. State authorities rolled out a mobile phone app they said helps predict possible lightning strikes. But many farmers do not own smartphones. In neighboring Uttar Pradesh, just over 200 people have been struck and killed by lightning since April, according to officials. More than 2,300 people were killed by lightning in 2018, according to the National Crime Records Bureau, the most recent figures available. The S&P, BSE, Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 indexes surged for a fourth day in a row to end at highest level since March 6 on Monday. The benchmarks stacked the gap of opening and extended gains in afternoon trading. The Sensex rallied as much as 640 points and Nifty 50 index moved above its important level of 10,800 at the day's highest level. Rally in today's session was powered by gains in heavyweights like Reliance Industries, HDFC Bank, Bajaj Finance and Mahindra. These stocks collectively contributed over 400 points towards gain in the Sensex. The Sensex ended 466 points higher at 36,487 and Nifty 50 index climbed 156 points to close at 10,764. All the 11 sector gauges bearing the index of pharma companies complied by the National Stock Exchange ended higher, led by the Nifty Auto and Realty indexes 3% up move. Banking, metal, financial services and energy shares also witnessed buying interest. Mid and small cap shares also witnessed buying during the session as Nifty Mid Cap 100 and Nifty Small Cap indexes rallied over 1.5% each. Defense company shares were in the limelight on the bourses for the second consecutive session. After rallying up to 12% on Friday, the Ministry of Defense approved the purchase of missiles, ammunition and weapon systems worth rupees 38,900 crore in wake of the heightened tension with China. Mahindra and Mahindra, Bajaj Finance, Hindalco, Tata Motors, Reliance Industries, Maruti Suzuki, Vedanta and TCS were among the top Nifty gainers. On the flip side, Bajaj Auto, GAIL India, Bharti Airtel, Wipro and Dr. Reddy's Lab were among the notable losers. India's GDP will contract 4.5% in the current fiscal year as predicted by the International Monetary Fund due to unprecedented COVID-19 induced supply-demand shocks, the Finance Ministry said in a report released on Monday. The Finance Ministry's economic report for June comes days after the government declared Unlock 2, a further easing of restrictions imposed in March to curb the spread of the coronavirus, which has pushed an already slowing economy into a standstill with thousands of job losses. Although the financial markets have retraced some of the worst losses in years due to the COVID-19 triggered lockdown, many economists say it will take much longer for the economy to return to its pre-pandemic potential. The government and the RBI have taken prompt policy measures, both short-term and long-term, in a calibrated manner to to revive an economy already slowing before the onset of the coronavirus outbreak. The correct anticipation of the economic downturn by the RBI and the government in March has made the policy environment conducive. The centre's structural reforms and social welfare measures will help build green shoots in the economy, the report said. A total of 8 lakh Indians may be forced to leave Kuwait as its National Assembly Committee has approved a draft expat quota bill seeking to reduce the number of foreign workers in the Gulf country. The National Assembly's Legal and Legislative Committee has determined that the expat quota bill is constitutional. According to the bill, Indians should not exceed 15% of the population. This could result in 8 lakh Indians leaving Kuwait, as the Indian community constitutes the largest expat community in the country, totaling 1.45 million, the Gulf News reported. The current population of Kuwait is 4.3 million, with Kuwaitis making up 1.3 million of the population and expats accounting for 3 million. Amid a slump in oil prices and the coronavirus pandemic, there has been a spike in anti-expat rhetoric as lawmakers and government officials call for reducing the number of foreigners in Kuwait. Last month, Kuwait proposed reducing the number of expats from 70% to 30%. According to the Indian Embassy in Kuwait, there are about 28,000 Indians working for the Kuwaiti government in the various jobs like nurses, engineers in the national oil companies, and a few as scientists. The majority of Indians, that is 5.23 lakhs, are deployed in private sectors. In addition, there are about 1.16 lakh dependents. Out of these, there are about 60,000 Indian students studying in 23 Indian schools in the country. Rajiv Gandhi Super Speciality Hospital in Tahirpur, the second healthcare facility in the national capital to start dedicated care of coronavirus disease patients, has increased its ICU beds capacity to 200. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia visited the hospital on Monday evening in a bid to observe a landmark at the hospital, the release of 1,000th COVID-19 patient who has recovered from the viral infection. Now we have given Dr. Sherwal, Director RGSSH, a new target of increasing the ICU beds to 500, said Kejriwal. This is in line with the Delhi's government's policy to increase ICU beds across the city, even as nearly 10,000 non-ICU beds across the hospitals are lying vacant. Delhi COVID-19 application showed that around 60% of ICU beds are being occupied, including both with and without ventilators. The 1,000th patient to be discharged from a senior nursing officer from Delhi government-run Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Hospital in East Patel Nagar. Though 3 others from the family had contracted SARS-CoV-2, which causes the disease, they are all under home isolation. Actor-politician Kamal Hassan, who started the Save Chennai movement to counter the challenge posed by coronavirus, has blamed the lack of transparency and mismanagement of Tamil Nadu's E. Palaniswamy government. Chennai has been under intermittent lockdown because of the virus. Tamil Nadu is the second worst hit state in the country after Maharashtra by the virus. So far, the state has witnessed 1.11 lakh cases, a chunk of them in state capital Chennai. I think it is too late to talk about mismanagement. So we have moved in managing the situation to the best of our capabilities as citizens, because this would have gone much better if the government has been keen on citizen participation, Mr. Hassan told. Tamil Nadu, he said, has much better health infrastructure than Kerala, the state which has become the textbook case for COVID-19 management. But Tamil Nadu has failed to use it properly, and that, he said, is an example of apathy. It is apathy because they thought that it would be go away or they will informed, and did not listen to medical council. The attitude of the top officials made them believe that it is not as serious as the world makes it seem. There was no communication with people on ground, and the government never wanted citizen participation. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.